More from NPR's Franco Ordonez.
The White House is asking Congress for at least $24 billion in extra aid to help communities recover from natural disasters, including the California wildfires and Hurricane Ida. President Biden is seeking an additional $6.4 billion to assist with resettling Afghans in the United States. The U.S. and allies evacuated about 124,000 people last month from Kabul. The Biden administration estimates that 65,000 vulnerable Afghans will have arrived in the United States by the end of the month, with an additional 30,000 arriving over the next year. The White House is asking that the money be added to a short-term government funding package that needs to be passed by the end of the month. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
President Biden traveled to New York and New Jersey today to view flood damage resulting from the remnants of Hurricane Ida. The White House has promised help for 6 counties in the state that suffered damage from the weather system. And while New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy says it's a good first step, he noted such weather systems are likely to become even more common in the future.
We had months worth of rain within 2 or 3 hours. And we know this is going to be the future, more frequency, more intensity. And we have to make sure we're getting out ahead of this and we're not dragged into the future by it.
Upwards of 24 people died in New Jersey as a result of Ida, most caught in fast-moving floodwaters. The storm is blamed for at least 50 deaths in the Northeast. Biden said Ida is stark proof for those who deny climate change is resulting in even more severe global weather.
And at least Democrats believe in federal help.
Idaho man is pleaded guilty to obstruction and assaulting police during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Here's NPR's Ryan Lucas.
On January 6th, Duke Wilson showed up at the Capitol wearing a white baseball cap with the words CNN fake news on it. Court papers say Wilson joined the crowd battling police protecting the building. At one point, he lashed out at officers with what appeared to be a section of PVC pipe. He hit at least one cop and then threw the pipe at the line of officers. Wilson later tried to steal a police shield from another officer before pushing him to the ground. Around 600 people have been charged in connection with the Capitol riot, and at least 50 so far have pleaded guilty. Wilson is scheduled to be sentenced in late November. Ryan Lucas, NPR News, Washington.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has signed into law an overhaul of the state's election rules following months of protests by Democrats. The sweeping bill signed today by the 2-term Republican governor further tightens Texas's strict voting laws. Texas joins more than a half a dozen states that have passed Republican-backed voting changes. New laws have been driven in part by former President Trump's false claims the 2020 election was stolen from him. The Dow was down 260